Pastor Chris, and here we are again with our Sunday morning primer. When I say we are talking about Christ Central in Spokane, Washington. If you don't have a church home and you're looking for a place to come and visit, feel free to do so. We're at 19 West Shannon. Services are at 11 a.m. We hope to see you there. Now, if you have a local fellowship, we do ask that you go ahead and pour into them, become part of them, and enjoy that fellowship that only happens between believers, especially those of the same congregation. Well, anyway, today we have a great passage for you. Now, this passage has been talked about a lot, and there's a number of paintings that kind of go along with it that you've probably seen before. We'll put the passage up right here. We're still in the book of Mark chapter 10. We're only doing 3 verses this week, and so I'm actually going to do all 3 of them for you right now. I'm going to read on my sheet. You can follow on the screen behind me. People who were bringing little children to Jesus to place him in his hands on them, but the disciples rebuked them. When Jesus saw this, he was indignant. He said to them, "Let the little children come to me, and don't hinder them, for the kingdom of God belongs to those such as these. Truly I tell you, anyone who will not receive the kingdom like a little child will never enter it." He took the children in his arms, he placed his hands on them, and then he blessed them. You know, this passage immediately follows Christ talking about marriage and talking about how that is a covenant between a man and a woman and God himself, and how this is this unbreakable covenant, and that no man should tear that asunder. And then he's still sitting and teaching, and people began to bring children to him to bless. Now, this was a tradition in the tabernacle where anyone could bring their child to the rabbi, and the rabbi would lay hands upon that child and pray for the child and bless him for his future, he or she's future endeavor. And the word used here is that they continued to bring children. And so because they kept continuing and Christ couldn't seem to do anything but this, the disciples wanted to put a stop to it. Presumably because Christ's time was better spent elsewhere, right? And he immediately rebukes them, of course, and that's kind of the famous portion of the story you've probably heard. What I find most interesting, though, is he doesn't just say, no, children are important. He says that clearly. But on top of that, he takes this moment to teach a little bit, and he says everyone needs to receive the kingdom of God in the same spirit as a child. Meaning that throughout that whole process, the disciples had missed something, and I think you and I, we miss something when we don't approach our relationship to Christ and ultimately the Father, and our relationship to our spiritual side, our childlike faith is what ties us to the kingdom in a real way. We're going to discuss that in a big way on Sunday, but I do have my weekly encouragement for you. And it's very simple this week. Tonight, during your prayer time, whether it's before you go to bed or perhaps it's first thing in the morning, when you spend a few minutes talking to God, ask him to renew that childlike faith that you had when you first came to Christ. Now, if you haven't come to Christ before and all of this is confusing, we would love to talk more about that with you. You can leave a comment down below right here, and I will be more than happy to respond to you right away. Either way, we hope to see you this Sunday, and if we don't see you this week, maybe next week. God bless.